Live from the KWQC studio, this is Quad Cities Today at 11.
First at 11 today, earlier this week, the Illinois Supreme Court upheld a portion of a law that would make the state the first to abolish the cash bail in the country. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kyle Keel. Morgan OTA is on assignment. On Tuesday, after months of litigation between the state and opponents of the law, the court ruled the no cash bail section of the SAFE-T Act is constitutional. But what does no cash bail actually mean? Under this part of the SAFE-T Act, money will no longer be a way to get out of jail as someone accused of crime waits for trial. Instead, the type of crime and the defendant's risk of reoffending or fleeing will be considered for pretrial release. Despite the General Assembly passing a trailer bill to clear up the measure means, opponents say the new system is still too vague. However, as TV6's Hernan Gutierrez explains, one organization dedicated to helping former offenders transition to life after prison says the move levels the playing field.
It's simple. Not everyone who's incarcerated is guilty.
Safer Foundation is a nonprofit that has locations throughout Chicago, its suburbs, and one in the Quad Cities. They focus on helping formerly incarcerated people re-enter society.
They not only succeed in that transition, but they continue to thrive afterwards.
The organization welcomes the Illinois Supreme Court's decision to uphold the no cash bail provision of the SAFE-T Act.
So we've been very happy with it. Money and an individual's ability to pay is not the criteria for whether or not they have to sit in prison, linger in prison, before they've been convicted.
Public policy analyst Mark McCombs says with the new system, everyone accused of a crime will now have better access.
And it's a lot harder to defend yourself when you're in prison than when you're out. You don't have access to witnesses, you don't have access to documents, and you don't have access to your lawyers like you do when you're out.
He adds it also protects those who may have been wrongly accused.
Nobody should have to be put in a position where they have to make a choice between providing for their family or paying for their freedom.
Moving forward, McCombs says he hopes fewer people in jail awaiting trial will lessen the burden on taxpayers.
Our hope is that by making people healthy, we'll make their communities healthy. And when we make communities healthy, we're going to make the state as a whole a healthier place to live.
TV6's Hernan Gutierrez reporting. Now, the Illinois Supreme Court's ruling outlined a 60-day waiting period for the measure to go into effect. Cash bail will be eliminated in the state starting September 18th. Now to a TV6 update. Multiple people were shot in Rock Island yesterday afternoon, including one person who died. It happened just after 2 in the afternoon outside a home on 14th Street and 13th Avenue in Rock Island. Police say a 51-year-old man died while being treated at the hospital. 2 others, a 28-year-old and a 50-year-old, are still in the hospital. No arrests have been made. If you have any information connected to the shooting, you are asked to call Rock Island Police. There's a new lawsuit filed by former residents in the Davenport building collapse. Attorneys for the 2 former residents filed the lawsuits Wednesday, saying several parties should have known of the dangers of living in that building. They're suing building owner Andrew Wold along with his companies. Also named in the suit, the city of Davenport, the former owners of the building, Waukee Investments, as well as Park Wild Properties. First alert weather time. Looking outside on our live sky view camera, we have an absolutely beautiful start to the day. We're starting to see some of those mid to high level clouds move in. Meteorologist Kyle Dickens joins us now in the Weather Center. And Kyle, I mean, you know it. It's about to get a whole lot different here, so let's enjoy this comfortable weather while we can.
Exactly.
Right?
Take today and please enjoy it, and don't blame us for what's about to come, because yeah, big changes are ahead. Now, beautiful outside right now. If you're heading out for lunch at outside, or really any strolling outside today, tonight, you're in store for a great day. 75 degrees, which I think is like the perfect temperature. Light wind, dew point not terrible right now. So, hey, overall, we're in good shape. 72 right now, Kewanee, 74 Galesburg, 73 down in Burlington, Mount Pleasant, up to Dubuque we go, 74 for you folks right now. Again, dew point not terrible, especially compared to where we were this time yesterday, where we were in the 70s, but yeah, we got this high pressure to thank for now, but we're going to be watching a little bit of a change come into our weather picture once we get into the weekend. Talking about overall pleasant day today, isolated storms for the weekend off and on, but the big story is going to be next week. We're talking about some big time heat, and I mean big time heat. We're talking triple digits for our highs. The potential is there. We're going to detail that, talk about your all-important RAGBRAI forecast as well coming up.
Well, it seems the heat and humidity are right on cue with the 50th annual RAGBRAI right around the corner. The ride, of course, starts on Sunday in Sioux City and ends in Davenport on the 29th, which, of course, is next Saturday. TV6's Larry Goodwin caught up with the Quad City Bike Club's RAGBRAI Charter Service Director, who's getting ready for his 21st ride.
There's people from all over the country. I have folks coming in from 38 different states, Canada, Washington, D.C.
The excitement is brewing for RAGBRAI. And Dixon Novi says there are people still trying to sign up and join in on the adventure.
If I could double my crowd, I would, because I've had enough impact of people still wanting in, even at the last second this week, wanting to make arrangements to jump in.
Novi is entering his 21st RAGBRAI and says there is no better way to see the state of Iowa.
It's the best way to see Iowa. I mean, we had Iowa history when I was way younger, and I didn't learn half as much as what I did, learning it on a bicycle.
So much history and so many riders throughout the years of RAGBRAI, but the Quad City Bike Club is the only charter to ride in all 50.
It's just very special to us to be able to be the only one to do all 50 years. I mean, it's just keeps getting better every year. It gets more popular.
It's a long journey across the state. Novi tells us one thing he looks forward to the most during the ride.
The food. The Amish ladies are baking pies right alongside the road, and they're churning out homemade ice cream to put on top of that piece of pie.
Thousands of people from all over the world riding side by side each other for hundreds of miles makes for a good opportunity to build friendships.
It's great. I mean, I call them friends because they come back every year, for RAGBRAI. And it's like a family reunion, except nobody's wanting to borrow money from you. You make friends all along the road every day, every mile. There's somebody to talk to, and it's interesting. They have interesting stories as well.
That was TV6's Larry Goodwin reporting. Now, of course, the Register's annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa ends in Davenport next Saturday, and that happens to be the same day as the Big 7 road race. So with all of those people coming to town, a lot of preparations are taking place. In fact, many riders will start coming to the Quad Cities today to board buses heading west to the starting point in Sioux City. Parking for those visitors will be at St. Ambrose, the Davenport Harrison, and Main Street ramps, as well as the Isle Casino in Bettendorf. Available parking in all those areas may be limited. You'll want to watch for more local RAGBRAI coverage coming up on TV6 News tonight. Well, there will soon be a new place to grab a burger, fries, and milkshake. Five Guys is coming to Moline. The company announced their location on their website that they will be opening up a restaurant in the Rock River Plaza off John Deere Road in Moline. This will be the second Quad Cities location, and that's expected to open in September. The Five Guys on Utica Ridge Road in Davenport is open again after having to close for 2 days earlier this week due to, quote, a small issue. The issue has been fixed, and the restaurant is back up and running. And the new Dick's House of Sport is now open for business in Davenport. People lined up for the grand opening this morning outside the store. It's been closed since March to make these renovations, and it now has several interactive features such as golf simulators, a rock climbing wall that you see there. That store is on Elmore Avenue in Davenport. They'll be celebrating all weekend long with prizes, contests, and even some pro athletes making appearances. Coming up on Quad Cities today at 11, a new law in California could be impacting Iowa pork farmers, how they say their bottom line could be impacted.